So Pilate went back into the praetorium and called Jesus to him. "Are you the king of the Jews?" he asked. Jesus replied, "Do you ask this of your own accord, or have others spoken to you about me?" Pilate answered, "Am I a Jew? It is your own people and the chief priests who have handed you over to me. What have you done?" Jesus replied, "Mine is not a kingdom of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, my people would have fought to prevent my being surrendered to the Jews. But my kingdom is not of this kind." "So you are a king then," said Pilate. "It is you who say it," answered Jesus. "Yes, I am a king. I was born for this. I came into the world for this, to bear witness to the truth, and all who are on the side of truth listen to my voice." So the feast we celebrate today is the feast of Christ the King. I find it really interesting that the next feast of Jesus that we are celebrating is Christmas, the infant child, helpless, lying in a manger. We go through the church's year and we finish with the feast of Christ the King. But don't forget that when Jesus was born, Herod was warned by wise men that there was a king born, and he set out to kill all the babies. So there's that whole theme of kingship and royalty and I suppose for Herod, power. But Jesus debunks all this. He says, no, I'm not about power. I'm about truth. So the challenge to us this Sunday and during this week, and indeed for our Christian lives, is how closely do we adhere to the truth that Jesus came to teach us. And the biggest truth that Jesus came to teach us is God is love. Love God. Love your neighbour as yourself. This is quite a difficult concept for people to grasp, because most people think of kingdoms and reigns and crowns and scepters and thrones in terms of ruling over, power over. But Jesus was talking about power on behalf of, power for, standing alongside those with no power. We only have to look round in our society today to find those who have no power. I guess with all the things that have been happening lately in our political scene, the beneficiaries are being singled out and feel they have no power. Some of our structures are inherently very powerful and they can damage people. Sometimes you hear of people going through court cases and through no fault of their own they've been damaged because the power of the court structure is very strong. Other times people go through a court case and apparently get off when a lot of people think they should have been convicted, and the victim feels very hurt by it all. We as Christians need to be constantly on guard to ensure we are acting with people, not acting with power over people. We have to look at what's the truth in our lives, who am I? And don't forget, humility comes from the word humus, meaning ground. We have to have humility and stand in the ground of our own being. And that doesn't mean what a wicked sinner am I. It means what are my failings, yes, but what are my gifts? What am I being called to? What does baptism call me to speak out in truth about? So our challenge may be, as we finish and next Sunday begin a new year of the church, is to maybe find a group or an organisation within the church which we can join or support in some way, an organisation which helps the powerless, which spreads the reign of God by establishing a kingdom of peace and love. It may be a group like St Vincent de Paul, or maybe a social justice group in our parish, or maybe Caritas, which works internationally. It may be just a little group in your parish who visits the bereaved or the lonely. It may be that you will act as a host after Mass on Sunday or after the church service. There are multiple ways we can speak out to bring the kingdom present in our daily lives. Aren't we lucky?